Hello everyone, welcome to this video about a challenging song by Herbie Hancock called Dolphin Dance. And I'm making this video because in another video in which I'm wearing the same shirt, you will see, I say this. For me, basically every song is a string of 1 chord and 5 chords. Now they might not be all in the same key, there might be modulations, but that's basically it. 1 chords or 5 chords. You can see it works pretty much on any song. It even works on songs without any functional harmony. It's a little bit more difficult to see how to do it, but you can still do it. Now, is that really true? Can you truly simplify any song to a string of 5-1 progressions? Well, kind of. I was thinking to make a video with a challenging song to see if it really works, and one of the songs I thought of was Dolphin Dance, because the harmony in that song is totally not functional. I mean, there is some functional harmony in it, but a lot of what Herbie Hancock was doing was just searching for very nice sounds and then connecting them through a beautiful melody. And the way I simplify changes is to find 5-1 connections even when there are none. And in this song it's still possible, although it's maybe not as obvious. If I would get a chart like this on a gig and I'd have to play a solo on it without any preparation or time to think about it, I'd probably get stuck in many places because the 5-1 path, if you want to call it that, is not that obvious. So, but let's take a look at it, and I think I found some solutions. And I'll just walk you through what I'm thinking, and I can also refer to the Hemert System, right? The way I map the notes on the fretboard and show you what I would be playing on changes like this. Okay, so let's get back to the guitar and check it out. Okay, so in the screen you see 2 charts, one with the original changes and then one with my simplified changes. And let's just start with the first line, right? So the original changes are C minor to A flat major 7 sharp 11. Some people play A flat 7 sharp 11, but I'm going with the more of a modal sound, right? Back to C minor, and then it's a 2-5 to G, right? And the way I simplified it is by playing C minor to E flat major 7, 2 bars to D7. And the reason I did that is because A flat major 7 sharp 11, right? The way I would play that would be a Lydian sound, right? Is I just would play E flat major 7 over that A flat, right? You have this A flat sound, and I would be playing. You could even combine it, you could even play both A flat major 7 and then switch to E flat major 7. That's A flat major 7 again. Right, because that the Lydian sound is accomplished by playing the D on top of the A flat major 7, right? The D. So if I play E flat major 7, I'm playing that D. And the funny thing is, C minor 7 for me would be E flat major 7 in most cases too. So I could also have written 3 bars of E flat major 7, and that's usually what I'm doing. I'm playing 3 bars of E flat major 7, and then I'm playing a 5-1 to G. So let's play that. Let's make a loop. I'll loop the first 4 bars or the first 5 bars. So I have this resolution to G. So here we go. Loop. Right, C minor, A flat major 7. Right, so sometimes I was now playing A flat major 7 over the A flat major 7. Of course, that works too. I know that. Even I'm thinking of the simplified changes of E flat major 7. I have no, of course, the original changes, so I have a choice. So then it's a 2-5 to G, that's easy, or 5-1 to G. Okay, then we get to the bar 5, G major 7, A flat minor 7, F minor 7, and then a G7 on beat 3. But on beat 1 you could play D half diminished, which is what is happening on the backing track. I mean, D half diminished, F minor are pretty much the same chord. And the simplification is not much, right? It's actually exactly the same. But I do have a trick. I could either treat the A flat minor 7, which is the weird chord, so to say, as a new 1 chord, or I could treat it as a substitute for a 5 chord to C minor 7. So what do I mean? Like, when I would treat it as a new 1 chord, I would actually play some E flat 7 altered right before the A flat. So even though the chord is G major 7, then on beat 3 I might play, right? So E flat 7 altered to A flat minor. Actually, if you play it from the flat 9, it's easy because you could play G major 7 up to the major 7, and that would then also be the sharp 9 of E7 to A flat minor. Or I would treat the A flat minor as a kind of D flat 7 chord, D flat, yeah, because it's a 2-5, the 2 for D flat 7. So I would play some, right? And that would be a tritone for G7. So then those 3 bars, and F minor would be kind of a 2 for G7 because it's D half diminished. So it would be 3 bars of G7 altered or D flat 7. And if I would do that, I would leave beat 1 of the A flat minor open, right? I would play some G major 7. And then this chord comes, and then after beat 1, I'd start. So let me do that with a loop. So I'll loop from the G major 7 until the C minor, 5 bars again. And I put the loop a little bit slower. And I'll play a mix between those two things. That was D flat 7. Now the other option. One more time. I mean, it's more difficult to hear when the tempo is this slow, but if I do it fast, you might miss it. But what I was doing basically was exactly what I was saying, right? Either play E flat 7 altered to A flat minor, or treat A flat minor as D flat 7. Like that. And I mean, as long as your lines are strong, it works. And the only thing I'm doing based on my system is moving my hand from chord tone to chord tone. So let's say I'm going to do the E flat 7 altered thing. I'm on G major 7. I search for a note of E flat, so maybe the 5th, and I play my altered line down. Now I'm on A flat minor 7, and I resolve there, so I could play some, right, this typical gypsy jazz way of playing a minor triad. Or I could go to B major 7 because I like to play major 7 chords on the minor chord, right? On the C minor I played E flat major 7, so on A flat minor I could play B major 7. So now I'm in the first position of B major 7, right? So I play E flat 7 altered. On the root, now go to B major 7. And now I have to switch to G7 altered, third. And then I played at one point. So I was thinking a quick D7, G7. Of course, these are all reflexes, right? I'm not planning this. If you want to know more about how that works, then check the previous video and the video before it. Okay, so then we're at the next 4 bars, which I didn't simplify because it's so easy. It's just 2 bars of C minor, and I just resolved. So it's a new 1, and you could play any C minor you want. You could play like E flat major 7, or you could play a C minor 6 sound, right? Or this kind of, it's Dorian, but I'm just thinking these licks which make it sound Dorian. Or and then a 2/5 to G. So in the next 4 bars, I simplified greatly, I think. So the original changes are G major 7, G sus, and then G sharp 11 to this kind of weird E flat major 7 sharp 11 with a G in the bass. Right, so. It's not a voicing you play every day. And so when you look at this voicing, what do you see in it? You see this, right? It's F7, F7 13. So I decided to put F7 in my chart. I could also chosen to play B flat major 7 because, as I said before, a sharp 11 chord, E flat major 7 sharp 11. That's basically, they want an A in there. So I could also play B flat major 7. And F7, of course, is the 5 for B flat major 7. So you could play a combination of those two. I chose to play F7, and I know to try to stay away from, let's say, diminished, but play more like, you could play some F7 bebop skill. And then the G sus I changed to F major 7 because you can always play a major 7 chord a whole step down, right? So G7 sus, and that's easy. Now I can go from G major 7 to F major 7. That's easy to play. And then that sharp 11 chord, I kept it, G7 sharp 11. That would be just G7 for me, but I know that the sharp 11 is an integral part of the sound, so I know the C sharp will be important, so I could play stuff like. Those are just licks that I know incorporate the sharp 11. But if I would stay away from it and just play G7, it would work too. Would work too. So let's go to the next 4 bars. So I'll make a loop of 8 bars. Next 4 bars, originally F7 sus, right there, to D with an F in the bass. So if I would play that literally, you would get something like, or you could play it like this, which is an octatonic sound, right? Like, so you could play the octatonic scale over that, the D octatonic scale, or the D diminished scale if you want to call it that. half whole step. And I simplified it in my changes to E flat diminished, because that's basically what's easy to play for me, right? The F7 sus chord before I simplified to E flat major 7, just like I simplified the G7 sus and the line above to F major 7, I simplified F7 sus to E flat major 7, and E flat major 7 to E flat diminished is a change I play all the time. That's in many standards. This change is everywhere, so I can play that. And so I can either play a diminished arpeggio, so let's go E flat major 7, or I could simplify that to D7 altered, because a diminished chord on the 1, you can always simplify it to an altered chord half step below. That's just a trick to remember. So I could play E flat major 7, back to E flat major 7, because it's F sus again, and then it's a 2-5. So I just play A7 altered. And then let's make a loop of those bars. So 8 bars, or let's make it 12 bars. Start from the C minor and then go until the A7 C minor. Loop. One more time. Yeah, it's not that difficult actually. Okay, then the next 4 bars, E flat 7, A minor 7, D7. I changed that to E flat 7, D7, and if you notice, if you look at that, the E flat 7 is a tritone for A7. So I could think A7, D7 to G, and there was already an A7 the bar before, so now it just becomes a long A7 altered to G7. Resolve to G major 7, because I'm in G now, so B minor 7 in the 3rd degree. I can simplify that to 1, and then it's E7, D minor 7. Now the D minor 7 is just a passing chord. Right, so I hear that as just E7 altered. I hear it like this. So if I would play B minor 7 instead of G, you get this. That's a normal change, right? You have many songs. You have 2-5 and then you go 2-2-5 whole step up. That's what's happening here. Only the chord less 1 bar. So that's how I hear it. So I play G major 7, E altered, then go to C minor 7, F7, F sharp 7, and then not resolve to B, which would be natural, but resolve to D major 7, which is kind of a weird resolution. But if you would resolve, for example, to the F sharp, that is a note that is common to D major 7 and B major 7. that would be a solution. I like that, or like that, and then we have that shifting major 7 chord, which is pretty easy for me because I just have my positions again. So let's say I start 3rd position of D. If you don't know what I'm talking about with positions, check out my previous video, or actually the video before. I will link both of them. So 3rd position of D connects to the 5th position of C, 5th position of D, 1st position of C, 1st position of D flat. Right, so that connection is easy to make, and I can go both directions. Of course, when I'm at the last C major 7, you could just shift it up. But maybe it's nicer to go down, where the chords move up from C major 7 to D flat major 7, and I move down. So maybe 1st position of C, and then go to the 5th position of D flat. And then we have this G7 or this B flat 13 sharp 9, flat 9 on an E flat. So if I would have to voice those chords, right, start at the D major 7 with the E in the bass, you get. And you get. And on the original recording, you get this sound with the E flat. So what is this? This just, again, it's an octatonic chord. You could say it's B flat 13, but I hear it more as a kind of a G7. So that's why I put it there. Also because we're going back to C minor, so it's easy for me to think G7 altered or G7 octatonic. You could do that too. Right, whatever you want. Altered or octatonic. I mean, the chord by itself is so weird. Or sorry, that just like a very high tension sound, like altered would work too. And then you get this. It says in the chart A flat major 7 sharp 5 with E flat in the bass, but what they play in the recording is they play C7 sharp 9 with E flat in the bass. It's impossible to play on the guitar, so I just played on the backing track. I played, and I let the bass play the E flat. There's no way to play that, I think, on guitar. Maybe play it there. That would be it. It's just C7 altered for me. So you get this weird thing like G7 altered to C7 altered would be very logical. But then back to G7 altered. So let me make the last loop from the E flat 7 to the, let's say, the top of the chorus. E flat 7, E7. One more time, E flat 7. Yeah, it's not the easiest tune, of course. I mean, it is tricky, but as you can see, I can still kind of play my 5-1 things, or at least reduce the chords to something that I'm very familiar with. Because playing from, for example, G major 7 to G sus to G7 sharp 11 to E flat major 7 sharp 11, that is not something that would ring a bell, right? That would something that would guide my fingers to play the right notes. But if you say, no, it's G major 7 to F major 7 to G7 sharp 11 to F7, oh, those chords I know. Same for the ending, or D flat major 7 to B flat 13 sharp, flat 9 to A flat major 7 sharp 5. It's even difficult to say those chords, and the connection is so weird. But you change it to D flat major 7, G7, C7, G7. I can do something with that. Of course, then you still have to find tasty lines, and that's just a matter of finding lines and repeating them, like I said in my previous video. Check that out. And then it's just playing it a lot. I wouldn't recommend starting with a song like this. I just wanted to show you that it is possible to use my way of thinking and my way of systemizing the fretboard, that it is possible to play any kinds of changes. Sometimes it just takes a little bit more effort in deciphering them. I hope it was helpful. Maybe it was a little bit too difficult to follow, but maybe in the future, right, you can come back to this video and check it out. Anyway, I will put these two charts, the simplified chart I will upload to my Patreon so you can check it out, and the original chart so you can compare. And if you like the video, please subscribe and share it with friends, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!